Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tafalarota, and I wanted to show you and share some of my thoughts of the Shining Tribe Tarot by Rachel Pollack. There's a really interesting introduction in the book which inspired me, and she speaks about origins of tarot and historical correctness and how when you take the meanings of tarot, this historical correctness, it's not really an issue. I know that for some people it is a great issue and all the facts have to, it's nice to know, of course, the historical facts, but sometimes even until now we don't really know how the universe, come to life, and how our body really works properly, even with the state of science that we have. So Rachel uses a little bit of the magical approach and states that tarot is so amazing a system that it can be linked to, as she says, it can be linked to Egyptian initiation rituals, to matriarchal paganism, to Christian Hermetism, to Tantra, to astrology, to vast complex of Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah. People have linked tarot to any of the systems, and it worked. So somehow, funnily enough, tarot is that complex, so vast as maybe our universe or as we are, and it lends all the images lend itself to be linked to any of those systems and to be used in a way the authors want to use them. So despite the fact that historically we know that first tarot decks showed up in Italy in the mid-15th century, but Rachel states that probably the decks themselves come from some earlier stages because they were already, in a way, a complete set some few hundred years afterwards. After that events, tarot has taken a totally new direction, and now the artists just create the individual visions and fit the vision to the tarot cards. So it's like tarot became a form of expressing your individual vision of the universe and of the archetypal energies that are imbued in the tarot pictures. So this is really a cool introduction. And also just about this tarot itself, Rachel says like she uses a lot of nature inspired and tribal cultures inspired images, and she says that this tarot, Shining Tribe Tarot, was created with the purpose to give us chance to actively create omens, and omens are one expression of the presence of the sacred in our world. So if you, for example, as she says, set out to go on a pilgrimage to a sacred spot, and like a snake crosses your path, or you see an eagle in some meaningful for you, just for you moment, that's like an omen. It's like a universe confirming that you are on the right track right now, and you are being noticed, and you are being in the right place at the right time. So this tarot was like created with this purpose of being like an omen, or develop our intuition and our senses to see the omens around us. And she also says that all tarot decks help form the divine body. So tarot takes our sense of awe, our accumulated human wisdom, and puts them into images, into the cards. And she says also that her deck is, she calls it a sacred tarot, not an esoteric tarot, because esoteric, it's a set of precise, detailed spiritual system or systematic ideas that are linked together, and you've got to be an initiate and go on and on and on. This deck is more fluid. It takes from different cultures around the world and has recurring symbols, but you can still develop your own attitude towards those symbols and see how you read them. The book is quite substantial, and each card has a picture, black and white picture, and it has like a little poem. And then Rachel describes substantially, in quite an interesting way actually, the symbols that she used. Most often they are taken from old prehistoric artworks or from the stone circles from around the world, or from like vases and artwork from Crete and Malta and Sumerian culture, Native American, Aboriginal, so all over the place. And she writes about each card, and then there's a short divinatory meaning and reversed meaning. So most of this info you get, it's the information about the symbols. And the backs of the cards are like this, so very simple. And then Rachel painted this deck. She said she's not an artist, and none of these images were planned to the end. They just came up from stories, from books she read, from places she visited. So the deck follows the traditional tarot structure. There's 78 cards, 22 major arcanas, and 4 suits. And she's changed the minor arcanas names. So reverse is for water, and trees is for wands, so something that grows. Stones is for pentacles, and birds is for swords. Sorry, it's so dark, but take a look at my window. I don't know if you can see, but it's covered with snow. It's just like we have a downfall. So yes, so as you see, the names of the suits are kind of nature-based, and then the major arcana strength is 8, and then the lovers, so they go regularly. So each picture, as you can see, has a not too obtrusive frame, and very kind of shamanic-looking, simple images. I keep my deck in a bag. I buy those bags either abroad in Thailand because they're quite cheap there, or secondhand. I try to do secondhand hunts for tarot bags. So I'll show you a few of the images. This deck I wouldn't be able to read with it for a client, let's say, and have the regular kind of tarot reading type, will he come back to me and does he love me and so on and so forth. You can go and work with it if you could, but to me it just feels too sacred. And in a way, this deck, I tried to connect it to the Earthbound Oracle, and I think it goes quite well with the elemental spreads and stuff. The Fool is cool. So as you see, it's a similar type of artwork as in Mother Peace Tarot, where you kind of see that, the Rachel is not an artist who has an amazing talent in illustration, but in a way these images are kind of cute because of that. And also she describes each of the symbols she uses, and they all come from our history, our human history. And I want to use this deck. I haven't done it yet, but I want to use this deck, just pull a few cards to create like a shamanic journey. And I don't know if you know how to do a shamanic journey, but there are a lot of CDs that you can by, and just the regular drum rhythm puts you into this like relaxed state, and you can journey to the underworld, onto the upper world, or to the middle world, which is kind of like our reality. And you can work with your guides. You can set an intention to meet your spirit animal, or a spirit animal that is important for you right now. And I think this deck will be great to journey with. Each of the cards can be like a gateway to do a shamanic journeying with. And I want to try to do that. Until now, I've used this deck in spreads, mostly like elemental spreads for elements and for the spirit. I played with 2-card spreads, also a singular card, 2-card spreads as a challenge and a gift kind of card. I tried to create some stories from a few cards, put one to another, like just creative stories, not anything divinationary or I keep pulling some cards very often. For example, the 7 of Trees, which is like a spine. I always thought to myself, like, grow a spine, Kasia. And also this came up as my guide, and this is an owl anyway, doesn't matter, but this is quite important for me. And also, you can probably do planetary spreads with it, a labyrinth or mandala, sacred mandala spreads, spiral spreads, like lots of things come to mind. It's a better deck to explore your femininity, explore your ancestors, explore your creative vision, explore your state of your psyche right now, or what has been lost, or what would you like to do. So on the spiritual side of things, I think this deck is better. Even the images themselves, they don't really feel too easy to read for the regular will I buy a flat types questions, if you at all do tarot in this way. But for shamanic journeying and dream work and path working, this deck seems cool. It's not so easy to get to know it without the book. At least I don't find it too easy. I like abstract images, and but I love using it with the book, just because the book gives you this deeper meaning to them and makes you aware of the fact that the images come from our culture, and it's sometimes from the Western Europe and Greek culture, which is quite close to me because I'm a white European person. But also there is some Aboriginal images which I love, that I used and I could recognize because I lived in Australia for many years. So yeah, this deck is quite interesting, and it follows vaguely Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, and I think it's an interesting deck, but not a deck for a regular use, not for me anyway. Maybe you'll find it easier. I just think this this deck suits itself really well for any type of spiritual exploration and shamanic connection and ancestral readings. If you want me to show you each card of the deck, just please write it in the comment and I will set up the camera in a different way. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I will get to know this deck even better, because right now I haven't had it for too long in my hands, and I do enjoy working with it, and I hope I will connect to it much more through using it. I send you a lot of love, and I speak to you soon. Bye.